Mike.
Okay, we'll call to order this meeting of the Valley Center Planning and Zoning Board for Tuesday, November 25th. For those who are willing and able, we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Okay, thank you. Roll call, please. We got
Gary
one
Jansen,
here.
Paul Springer,
Got it warmed up.
Amy Bradley,
Here.
Steve Conway,
Here.
Rick Schellenbarger,
Here.
Scott Phillips,
Here.
Dalton Wilson.
Here.
So if everybody's had a chance to review the agenda for tonight's meeting, or any questions or comments? Seeing none, I move that we approve the agenda as presented. Motion is second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, same for the draft minutes of the October meeting. Are there any questions or comments? If not, I move we approve the minutes as presented.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any communications, Kyle? Challenge is on. So we're going to start with our first public hearing, which is a review of the application of Dan Frazier pursuant to City Code 171008 is petitioning for a variance to have a side yard setback less than 35 feet for an accessory garage on property address is 501 East Valley Park Drive, 702, and we'll open the public hearing.
All right, good evening. There we go. All righty, so again, yes, this is a variance for side yard setback. I made an error, and so there will actually be a second piece of this coming at the next meeting because I forgot to list the size overage on the building. But this one, your evenings for side yard setback variance. As you can see, I know it's a little bit harder up here on the screen probably, but this lot in particular was platted with a 35-foot setback on both sides. Typically in an R1B district, you have to have a 25-foot setback for one side on a corner. The other one can be reduced to 15. This one, when the plat was created and approved, it was platted with 35 foot on both sides. So that's very limiting to where he can build in this lot. His home does meet the 35-foot setback on both sides, but he's asking for this accessory garage that he's able to have a 12-foot setback. Dexter does have a very wide road right-of-way. It's 70 feet. If you can see up here, Valley Park is 60 feet on the west and 64 on his side. So 70 is a lot wider of a right-of-way. So that already pushes the garage back some. And then the additional 12 feet, it's roughly going to be about 26 to 30 feet back from the curb. GIS isn't a perfect measurement, but that's kind of roughly how far back it's going to be off the curb. Part of the reason for the variance is also just mainly to not have to pour that extra 35 feet of driveway, because that would be a lot of driveway to pour. If you look at around in the neighborhood, having an accessory structure, 15 feet is pretty common. This again is just kind of a unique scenario that wasn't created by the property owner. It was created by those that did the plat. I only had one communication from the neighbor to the west, who thought that it was going to be 12 feet off the curb. Once I explained to them that there's right of way, then the property line, then 12 feet, the neighbor was way more comfortable with it and didn't have any complaints about it. Other than that, we had no other communications. The applicant is here this evening. If you have any questions for him, and staff recommend approval of the variance.
Thank you, Kyle. Looks to me like it matches the house and the one to the north pretty well, especially again with the extra wide right of way. So, any questions, comments from the board? I think this is pretty straightforward. I had a chance to look at it ahead of time. We've had others like this, and I think it makes sense, especially when you're on two streets like this. So, does the applicant here like to say anything? You don't have to. It's entirely up to you. Sure. No, I don't want to. Yeah. Okay. Well, if that's the case, if there's nobody else in the audience who wants to speak on this, 7:05, we'll close the public hearing. Anybody have anything extra to add? Want to make a motion? I'll make a motion. Based on the city staff recommendations, public comments, and discussion by the Board of Zoning Appeals, I move to approve V 2025-08.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, good to go. Thank you for being here. Item number 2 is a review of V 2025-09, application of Kathleen and Mark Wood pursuant to City Code 1710-08, who is petitioning for a variance to have a side yard setback less than 1 foot for a carport addition to the home, as well as an accessory shed on property addressed as 724 East Butler. You're at it again. It is 7:06 and we'll open the public hearing.
All righty. Good evening again. So this piece was not in your packet, and I apologize. I did not get printed copies for you. The applicant did submit this to me today just to kind of give you a better idea of what they're looking at doing. So their home is here in red. It sits at the corner. It's Butler Street the whole way through, but it's kind of right at a corner. It's kind of a weird shaped lot. They have their home is about 10 feet from the property line. After the hailstorm, they're wanting to try and get an extra covered parking space because they had hail damage. So they're wanting to add on a carport. The second picture here shows this white outline, kind of shows where they're planning to have the carport addition. And then they have a shed out back that is a smaller shed. I'm trying to get my cursor on it for you right there. They're wanting to tear that shed down and rebuild with a little bit bigger shed. And so then the third picture here on the left kind of shows what that shed would look like with a larger garage door on it. Right now, I believe it's more of a garden shed. So this way they could get mowers and things like that in and out of it. We did talk about other areas to build on their lot. Their lot does have floodplain in it. And so there was concerns about having to build up if they built at the rear of their lot for additional garage. So that's why they're wanting to go with the carport. We did notify all of the neighbors and publish in the Ark Valley News. I did not receive any communications on this variance in opposition. The applicants are here this evening if you would like to hear from them. But otherwise, and I also talked with fire because this variance is asking for that carport to basically be right on the property line at the front corner. And then as you go back, the lot line widens so the carport won't be on the property line a little bit further back. But then the current shed is essentially right on the property line. So they're trying to match that with the new shed. And so I had fire review it because of the carport being in the way. And they basically said, as long as the carport's open, it's not a closed-in carport, they're fine with it because they can still get back through it with hoses if there was a fire at the rear of the home or one of those rear structures. So fire didn't have any issues with the carport. And then there's no other structures within 5 feet of that carport on the other side of the property line. So they're not going to be against fire code on this. So staff do recommend approval.
That'd have to be built 1 foot above our BOD.
It will have to be, I can't remember if the entire, I know there's a Loma on the property. So I'll have to review that to see if the shed, where the shed current elevation is, but they do have a Loma. The house is not in it. I'm not sure if that covers the entire property or if the shed, we'll have to look at that before we approve the permit for the build of that.
Adjacent property owner had no issue with this, I assume, or at least didn't voice it.
To my knowledge, I could have the
No,
applicant
it's-
up here, but
it's-
he said he talked to both sides and they were fine with it.
Good. What's the normal setback supposed to be, 6 feet?
For an accessory, so the home and the carport being attached to the home would be 6 feet. Anything detached accessory would have to be 15 feet off the
Okay.
property line. Off the sides, off the rear, it's 10.
Gotcha. Any questions, comments? Anything the applicant would like to say? You don't need to, but I just want to give you the opportunity.
I'm good.
There you're good. Well, if there's nobody else in the audience, assuming not, that wants to speak on this, at 7:10, we'll close the public hearing. Any questions or comments from the board? If not, based on city staff recommendations, public comments, and discussions by the Board of Zoning Appeals, I move to approve V 2025-09.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Good to go. Thank you. Last item is review of 2025-10 application of Hatchet General Contracting pursuant to City Code 171008, who is petitioning for a variance to build a new home on a RR1 lot that is smaller than the minimum zoning requirement on property established at 2330 West 69th Street, 710, and we'll open the public hearing.
Righty. Good evening again. I'm going to try and zoom this out so you guys can see the site plan up here on the screen. Alrighty. So the contractor is the one handling this application, Hatchet General Contracting, for the property owner. The property owners are having some issues with their home that need fixing, and they've decided that it's going to be more cost effective to build a new home and tear down the old. However, to do that, they're going to have to put in a new septic system because where they want to build the new home is on top of the existing septic system. And because of basically because it will be a whole new project, we're requiring them to go through the variance process because their lot does not conform with current zoning regulations. Their lot is not platted, which basically means that it was annexed in, and so it never met our city standards for zoning regulations, and so it was just annexed in as is. The lot, I believe, is about, I was trying to get to the page, so I apologize. I want to say it's 2,000 feet roughly smaller than what code requires. So myself and the code requires 2,000 square foot for the lot. The lot is currently 18,608 square feet. So it's a little bit smaller, about 1,400 square feet
20,000.
smaller than what code requires. Our Public Works Department and myself went out on site and reviewed this with the property owner and the contractor to come up with this site plan that would work for all parties. The neighbor so the public notice was given out. The neighbor to the east, basically the only question they had asked, they never gave me any opposition or in favor. They just wanted to make sure the home wasn't going to be built any closer to the property line. As you can see, the only thing that's really closer is the garage because it's going to be a little bit offset of the home, but it still is greater than our minimum setback requirement from the side. So it more than meets the setback requirements. Other than that, I did not receive any other communications on this. And like I said, Public Works did review this to make sure that it would work for the on-site waste system, and staff do recommend approval.
Got it. Thank you. Doesn't look like anybody's even here. Any questions,
So
comments from the board?
generally speaking,
20,000 square feet's a decent lot size. It's just because this is coded as RR1 that is the
Correct.
ordinance. Okay.
And because they have city water, if they did not have city water, they'd have to have a minimum of 1 acre, but city water allows them to have a
Gotcha.
smaller lot.
Gotcha.
Okay, well, it's 7:14. We'll close the public hearing. Anybody got anything to add? Based on city staff recommendations, public comments, and discussions by the Board of Zoning Appeals, I move to approve V 2025-10.
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now, you had old unfinished business? You have probably less than 30 seconds to talk about the board meeting date for 2026.
Okay, basically, right now I've tentatively scheduled everything for the 4th Tuesday of the month, except for December with the week of Christmas. We typically schedule that for the Thursday before. So that's what this schedule reflects. I did try to see, because this year we moved because of the Trick or Treat Street. I did try to see if the chamber had scheduled a date for next year yet. They have not. The 27th is one of the 2 dates that they would have it on. So if we decide to move it once they schedule, we can. But if you wanted to tentatively approve these dates, you certainly can. I can publish them, and then if we can make changes as needed. Unfortunately, like this year we had to because we had a few scheduling conflicts. But I would like to try and get these set so we can get them published so people know what their deadlines are.
My only comment is the November meeting that has been scheduled as the Valley Center Community Pie Auction on November 24th. So not that we necessarily have to reschedule around that, but just a thought.
That's fair. And that one is the week of Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like this year, we have it the same week, but last year we did move it. So we could move it if you want to do it the week before. That's certainly your prerogative.
I'd be good with that. I'm surprised there's so many here because I know at my office, a lot of people are off this whole week. So it's probably a good idea.
So we could move that to November 19th. That'd be the Thursday before. If you would like, we could do that.
Makes sense to me.
Any opposition to that? So did you want us to approve this calendar?
If you're willing to this evening, yes.
Yeah. I would make a motion to approve the calendar with changing November to the 19th.
Second.
Motion second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Easy enough. So I have a question. Sorry, moving on. I had to miss, I think, the last 2 meetings. Things just haven't been working out. Do we have officer elections? I was hoping I missed it and somebody else decided they wanted to do it.
No, we have not. I will.
Don't worry about it. I thought it was usually towards the end of the year.
It probably is. So I'll make sure it's on next year.
Well,
month's
whatever.
agenda.
Brought it up. I think we should have it tonight.
No. I would say I'm always willing to do it, but if anybody else is interested, you can have at it. Maybe Paul will want to be chair.
I did volunteer to throw my name in the hat
Good.
for either chair or vice chair. And
You know what? It seems like my schedule's getting harder and harder, and I still want to do this, but I don't think it's a bad idea. I've done it long enough. I think it'd be great. So think about that whenever we do that. I think that'd be great. That's why I brought it up.
Sounds good.
Well, happy Thanksgiving. Thank you all for being here. That was quick. We almost made 7:15.
we won't hold it against you.
That was my fault for keeping it going.
It was that question on the officer elections.
Yeah.
It was. Otherwise, we'd have made it.
So,
Do we need to make a motion to?
so
Do you
yeah.
have any other items? Anything else? Anybody else want to discuss besides the officer elections?
Nope.
Okay. Then I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Yeah.
Second.
We have motion and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dalton. I
Yeah, of
kinda
course.
skipped that part.
All good.
Much excitement.